Okay, the meeting will start, it looks like 9:02. I can't see from here, the whole clock. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to read the protocol for the public forum. Limited to 5 minutes per topic, discussion or comments about town employees, agency members, or volunteers shall be avoided so as not to violate individuals' rights. There is someone here for the public forum, and it's Michelle Saucier and Tim Annis.
I have asked that these two be present just for the beginning of this board meeting. I sincerely would like to take this opportunity to especially thank Michelle Saucier and Tim Annis for their support throughout the entire pandemic. When we shut down activities at the center, Michelle Saucier, Tim Annis stayed there the entire time. We kept working at the center. Michelle was responsible in making sure that everyone still got their meals. She took on new clients during that time, all by herself. She single-handedly ran that kitchen. Later, I'll get to thanking the Meals on Wheels drivers that stayed with us during that whole time. They continued to be the same group of people that delivered, and thanks to Michelle for making sure that they were safe. We could not have had our seniors fed or those little check-ins without her love and support. While other centers were closed completely or doing grab-and-go meals, our senior center stayed open and it remained safe at all times. I'm proud to say that, knock on wood, none of us had COVID, as well as anybody who had frequented the building in that time. I would like to thank Tim Annis for the tremendous amount of driving that took place, especially in the beginning when seniors were afraid to go to the grocery store, when they were afraid to go to the pharmacy, when they were afraid to take an elder bus had actually closed down. They could not get to their doctor's appointments, any doctor's appointment. When family members from across the states would call and ask us, could you check on our parents? We had Tim there ready to go over and check on them. We had Clark Alderman and Diane Hanley, who are back at the at manning the fort right now. Their love and support was home-based, which was phone calls, constant check-ins, and getting services, certain services to folks, reaching out to us back at the home base, and making sure that we got to the individuals that needed support. So, this was an extraordinarily tough time, and it's because of those two that I was able to do this, that we were able to continue to take care of our seniors, as well as people that were coming to the food pantry. We have never seen this many people during that time. It's gotten a little better. Donations, thank goodness to the generous people of Sutton, who would come daily and bring us stuff. And as soon as it came in, it went right out. There was a lot of work that went into that food pantry, more so than usual, because things needed to be, which we felt at that time, needed to be wiped down and put on the shelves. And that took a lot of work, making sure everything was disinfected. Everything was non-contact. We would pack up the food and we would bring it out to the end of the driveway. It was contactless completely. So people would drive up and pick their stuff up out of the cart. A lot of families and a lot of senior citizens at that time, and even now are utilizing the pantry. And we can talk more about that later, but it's because of these two who were constantly there. There were more hours that were put in than I can even begin to tell you. So I would like to give them a very small token of appreciation, honestly, because they're great people to have in your corner. They really are. So.
Well deserved, both of you. Very well deserved. Okay. Are we going to proceed?
Yep,
Okay.
go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, we're going to change things just a little bit because it's been so long since we had a meeting, obviously. And then Michelle is going to go right after I announce it. Michelle is going to go right into all of the updates that we need to know, right? And before I start, Michelle, you were so generous in thanking everybody. But I think I speak for all of us, all of the board and all of us who come to the center, that we owe you a tremendous thank you. And especially when it was time for our age groups to get the COVID vaccine shots. You went above and beyond, and I know for a fact you did. Weekends, time when you were home, and you still did. So from the bottom of our hearts, and for all of us in the town of Sutton, we thank you sincerely. You deserve it.
Thanks.
Okay. And Michelle, we'll turn it over to you now.
All right. So I'm going to read the notes that I have. This is starting from primarily when we were closed up until June 1st, when we have a soft opening, which is still kind of going on now. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our town manager, Jim Smith, for his understanding and compassion to the needs of our seniors in town. Like I said earlier, while other towns were closing their centers, Jim supported us in staying open to fill the needs of his citizens. And again, without him, that whole thing wouldn't have taken place. So his love and compassion towards all of us is very much appreciated and needed. As I mentioned earlier, there were Meals on Wheels drivers that were there the entire time. And those, I always hate to give out personal thanks and name names because I inevitably always forget someone or inadvertently forget someone. So I would like to thank Bob and Maureen Jakes, Andrea Cortez, Jesse Ellis, Bill Dunn, Louise McKenna, Gail Graves, Martha Adams, Ed and Noni Leonard, and Joyce and Bruce Seaman for, during that entire time, driving every day, nearly every day for all of that. So I sincerely appreciate and thank them. Skip over that. I'm beyond grateful, and he's not here right now, unfortunately, to our COA board member and emergency management director, Paul Maynard, for his constant updates, communication, and supply of PPEs for not only my staff, but for seniors in need in town. We had quite a few calls where people needed gloves or they needed masks, some sanitizer, and Paul had secured a good amount of that stuff in the beginning for us to give out little care packages to our seniors in town that were in need of that stuff. Honestly, Paul Maynard is amazing, and he went above and beyond for all of us. Honestly, I'll say again, he provided us with our masks and our sanitizer and our gloves and face shields and anything and everything you could possibly imagine. He applied for grants. He worked with MEMA and FEMA and all of these agencies to make sure that the Sutton seniors were taken care of. Again, Clark Alderman and Diane Hanley managing quite a bit from home, and I thank them a lot because they did do call checks every day to our homebound seniors that don't necessarily get Meals on Wheels, because they did get their check-in. Just to touch base with some of our most vulnerable people in town. There's so many thank yous that need to go out. Words cannot begin to explain or express the generosity that was bestowed on the food pantry and our seniors in need. The townspeople of Sutton, I mean this with all my heart, are the most loving, kind, and supportive folks I have ever known. I do not know of a town that steps up and comes together quite like this. And I can't thank them. I'm thanking them on behalf of all the bellies that they filled, of all of the seniors that they supported and helped, whether it be a home visit, a distant home visit, or taking over a meal, just the check-ins alone, just fantastic individuals. I am sincerely grateful for all the people that called and continue to call to volunteer. In the very beginning, we were inundated with people who were so willing to volunteer on so many different levels. And unfortunately, I really couldn't go forward in using all of them. I had to stick with kind of the core people that I had for various reasons. My core people had been Corey checked. I knew them. I knew it was safe to send them to a senior's house. So when you get people that were just calling in, I'm sure they're all well-intentioned, but there's a lot of folks out there that did a lot of scheming and scamming. I'm not saying here, but I read plenty about it. So we were constantly made aware of some of the not so good things that were happening to senior citizens during the beginning of the pandemic. So honestly, it's my heartfelt thanks to all the people who came out to offer to volunteer their services on any level. I do appreciate the offer, and hopefully, if God forbid we ever have to go through something like this again, there'll be just a little bit of a different plan in place for people who want to instantly volunteer. During this time, in the beginning of the pandemic, this was extremely difficult on our seniors. We were their go-to for information, trusted information, which really we had to get from our Board of Health and from our emergency management and from the Department of Public Health. So it was hard to link services to these folks with families that were in other states. So there were just a lot of phone calls. They wanted our thoughts, they wanted our opinions, they needed our support. And this has been a tough time emotionally on all of us. And my staff, they're superheroes. So if you see them, give them a great big air hug. The following services have been implemented and maintained since this has all started. We developed and implemented our own plan in meeting the needs of our seniors and families because there was no guidance anywhere from anyone other than on our local level. In which case they kind of referred to us because they really didn't know the needs of many of our folks or what we were going through. So Clark and I came up with our own plan of action and daily plan and what to do. As time went on, maybe 8 months later, various organizations that support us started to give us advice and have Zoom meetings with us as to what we should be doing. And many times we would just tune out. We'd already had all that stuff in place. So I'm grateful for that. God forbid this portion ever happen again. There's a plan that is written in place for this type of situation. Hopefully it never happens again. The food pantry supplied food and toiletries, which was huge. Toiletries especially, as you all know. Without hesitation, without any hesitation or word of lie, between 185 to 220 individuals each month. I say individuals, not families. I go by the number of people. So if a family comes in and there are 4 people in that family, those 4 people are considered in that 220. So it's not just family size. Those folks came and they needed certain items. And again, if it weren't for the love and support of our town's folks and the church, it wasn't going to happen. We, like I said earlier, we secured donations and wiped every donation with sanitizer wipes. We had no contact curbside pickup. Meals on Wheels maintained their social distance, masked and gloved food delivery. The Worcester County Sheriff's Office, Lou Evangelitis, provided us with perishable food box pickups at the Worcester Distribution Center. They had different areas where Tim and myself would go and pick up boxes of food that in those boxes was milk, some sort of a protein with meat and cheese, and some produce for us to hand out to some of our families that we knew needed a little bit more. So we were able to pick up 30 to 50 boxes of food each month to help these folks out. We ended up going to New Hampshire to get food from General Mills, their distribution office, and that was thanks to Anthony Germano, who is Diane Hanley's brother, who did that in memory of their brother, for the love and support that we showed their family during their time of need. Got us cases of canned chicken and baked beans and beef stew, some of the things that are a little bit more pricey. So we drove up there and got all of those as well. Right now, we need to continue to be safe, and we have the support and recommendation of our town nurse and our town manager in doing the recommendations of the CDC and the Mass Department of Public Health, that we keep our masks on while in the building. The staff that is behind the glass partition, behind these plexiglass partitions, can keep their mask down. If they go out into the common area, mask needs to go back on. there are a couple of reasons more so why in the front office, whether it's myself or Diane or Tim or somebody utilizing the phone, many of our seniors, as you know, cannot hear. And if you're on the other side of that glass partition and you have a hearing impairment, you're not going to not only hear me well through this, but you're not going to hear me well through the mask as well. So the mask comes down or it's not on. We're behind that partition. If you're on the phone, clearly you can't wear a mask because they can't hear. A lot of folks can't hear. And that's why that happens. I'm trying to think. Again, when we go out into the common areas, those masks have to go back on. Hallway, dining room, bathroom, masks need to stay up until these case numbers start to go down again. I need to keep the people that come there safe. I need to keep my staff members safe because some of us have people that are not well in our lives. And if we get sick, that's not a good thing. We have staff members themselves with health issues that those masks, are important for now. So let's hope and keep our fingers crossed that that things change up a little bit. Any questions on any of that there before I move on to the outreach report? No?
No questions?
Okay.
I believe we can consider these the minutes of the meeting.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'll ask for a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Accepted.
The
Okay.
outreach report goes from this June until July, so the beginning of June to the end of July. We've had 203 phone calls. And this is on Clark's end. There have been 87 rides. No elder bus transportation. They just started reinstating their rides. And again, a lot of people are afraid to get on elder bus. Some of our seniors. There were 17 veterans questions and referrals. We provided 37 applications for food assistance. All 37 of those applications were senior citizens. We did 4 legal referrals. During this time, we've had a tremendous amount of medical equipment loans. I have to toot our horn with that. Folks who have been generous have let us have wheelchairs or transport chairs, walkers, commodes, shower chairs, and we sanitize those and we lend them out because a lot of folks can't afford them. Or they don't have time to wait for them, can't find them for various reasons. They come to us. We've given out, we've loaned out wheelchairs and transport chairs, 21 in this past 2 months, 7 walkers, 15 commodes, and 11 shower chairs. We've done 3 Tri-Valley referrals for probably home care assistance or maybe a Meals on Wheels. There have been 20 home visits. Those have been, in the beginning, they were socially distant. Now they've been masked in the house. Senior family support, that's gone down quite a bit from in the beginning. But 8 senior family members, they live in other states. And they just need some extra assistance because they can't really get on a plane. And if they get on a plane, they come here and they stay with their parents, in which case they've been on a plane. There's a lot of issues, a lot of stuff that goes on there. There have been 10 people that have been helped by Shine, and anybody who needs Shine counseling, which is serving the health information needs of everyone, that is done by Pat Morris, and you can call the Senior Center, and we will have Pat get in touch with you. He can either meet you at the Senior Center, or he can help you over the phone. So there's some options there. Please feel free to give us a call. Meals on Wheels, we recently just started back up in-house meals, and that has been on Wednesdays and Fridays. Slow to start, but we'll, hopefully as time goes on, those 2 days will start to pick up, and then we'll see where we can go to from there. Delivered meals during these 2 months are, give or take, about 1,400. Because not only does Sutton take care of Sutton, but we take care of Douglas, and we take care of parts of Northbridge as well. We are the hub of the universe. Bereavement support, Clark continues to meet and or talk with folks that are having a little bit of a hard time. And there's been one person who, has been coming religiously or speaking with him religiously about that. Anybody who needs any, just a, box of tissues and a cup of tea or whatever, we're there for you, because we all understand that sometimes you just want somebody to talk to that maybe isn't right in that situation, or somebody that will maintain your confidentiality and how you feel. So you are more than welcome to give us a call and hang out on the phone with us, or you can come in and see us. Again, we're always there with a box of tissues and some tea or a cup of coffee. So please don't hesitate in reaching out to us. Professional meetings, still doing quite a few of them by Zoom. So he's had 8 professional meetings via Zoom. Fuel assistance, we have filled out 3 applications for fuel assistance, again for senior citizens. Home maintenance projects, we've had 9 folks call and ask for some assistance, and Clark puts some of our seniors in touch with somebody who can put in a shower railing or something small, minor like that. Put in an air conditioner, go in and put in a fan, those kinds of things. And then he assisted with 5 Medicare and Social Security sign-ups as well. So he's been very busy, and Clark is a wealth of information and just a great guy to get to know. So if anybody, out there in TV land needs any love and support, Clark's your man. So feel free to give us a call. Any questions on that?
Nobody has anything they want to ask or discuss with her about the outreach? No?
Okay, attached I have the budget for this fiscal year, which started on July 1st.
Is there any questions concerning the budget? Any discussion? No?
So no meetings or,
No, everything has been,
no, I mean for future. We're now talking future.
under meetings and seminars on here,
Yeah,
that's
we're
for us to
talking future.
professionally, that's
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
professionally to go. No, I don't see that, I don't see that happening. That's more for gas, transportation, 55 cents a mile, and none of us have ever asked for that, because it's really kind of part of our job, so.
Well, I think we had it before.
Yeah.
We have
We've always
in the
given it back.
past. Okay.
We've always kind of given it back.
I'm just asking.
Yeah. It's part of the, yeah, I think that's kind of in the in-state travel. Some people pay for meetings, we do not.
Well, you should, actually.
Well, if they had
I'm sorry.
them. If they had them.
If they go, you should be paying for them to go.
Our dues and subscriptions are not to magazines. Dues and subscriptions go to the Massachusetts Council on Aging, Central Mass Agency on Aging to support those folks that inevitably support us with invaluable information. So
Michelle, how's the solar working?
it's much better.
Much better
Much better.
than it was?
Things have gotten much better. Yes, thank you.
Is there anything else? Anybody have anything else? Yes, Wally?
This is just in general, I mean, the general part, okay. First of all, you know, we have this project on Ormsby Road for over 60 housing or condominiums, and last night at the planning board meeting, we extended their permits. The problem that has been, because of this COVID thing, the developer hasn't been able to line up a builder. And that whole building thing, which I'm sure you've read about, between the cost of equipment, getting people to come, you know, it's just been, you know, out of control. So we basically lost a year and a half here. And we're doing some projects around the house, and this is just going on and on and on.
Yes.
You can't get the equipment. Somebody told me last night they needed something, 4 90-cent gaskets. It took them 3 weeks to get it. And this is just stuff you
True.
get.
If
And
you
we're running into
yeah.
the same problem, and then we do have a crew lined up to come in and paint. Somebody got COVID. Well, we certainly appreciate the fact they didn't come in, but again, it's another
Yeah.
several
Delays.
weeks. So that's just on a small project, you know, tiny project. So you can imagine a multi-million-dollar project trying to get all this stuff lined up. Bottom line is, they're getting ready to go. He's getting his financing, and I would hope maybe at this building season, this fall or early winter, they can start, you know, putting the roads in and doing the basic information. So I think this is a big step forward for the town of Sutton. It's like 93 units in there. And again, so I think it's over 60 primarily is what it's geared for.
Wally, excuse me, even with the delays, is there any projected time of when it might be pretty much completed, anything? No?
I don't think anybody in the building trades today is going to make any kind of an
Any
idea.
kind,
It would
right.
just be a guess. Again, because there's so many factors, you know, you're going to get thousands of different parts, and it doesn't matter. I mean, look, automobiles can't even be made because they can't get chips. Now, who would have think a chip would cause this to happen,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they're projecting that you should buy your Christmas presents now.
I just saw that.
Because of transportation problems and manufacturing problems, that you'll probably not be able to get what you want. And if you do, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
If anybody had to replace any appliances or anything
Oh,
in
yeah.
your home, you've got a big, long delay,
Delay.
unless you're lucky enough to find one already in the appliance store that you
Right.
can buy brand new, but,
1 year.
yeah. Yeah, we know the delays, absolutely.
Personal
Plus, a
experience.
lot of people are having problems with drivers for transportation. Because a lot of the drivers aren't going back to work.
Well,
For various reasons.
Yes.
Here's
Some is
another
health.
interesting point. You know, we talk about the infrastructure, okay? There's a route we're familiar with, Interstate 81, which goes through Western Virginia, Maryland. It's sort of runs parallel to 95, and it's nowhere near as busy, but it's only 2 lanes each way. And there was some company in Volvo, actually, in Pennsylvania, and they make industrial equipment, movable equipment, but they get their steel out of some company in Georgia, okay? And now everybody believes in this just-in-time delivery. You know, we don't want it here, blah, blah, blah. Well, they've had so many accidents, and drivers can only drive so many hours in a 24-hour period. Well, if you've got an accident, you sit there for 4 hours, you're not going anywhere, but it counts as your driving time. So, you can see how everything is so interrelated. If they upgraded the highway, which probably hasn't been done in 50 years, from, the interstates first started coming in the 50s, that would help alleviate that. It's all these other factors that we never really thought about until this crisis came.
One of the biggest problems that the truckers had is they couldn't stop anywhere for anything.
Right.
They had problems, health problems, never mind just eating problems.
Right.
They couldn't stop anywhere to rest or
Yeah.
do what you got to do. But,
It's-
so some of them are still working and some of them aren't.
It's a tough situation.
Yeah.
I guess people can say, well, when we get automatic trucks, which probably
All right,
are
if you can get them going.
but there are a lot of issues for that
That's right,
too.
too.
Currently, they're not safe yet. The other question I wanted to just raise and for a general conversation, and probably led by Michelle, is we've just gone through this very critical period. What did we learn out of this critical period that can serve us to enhance the experience of seniors in Sutton? Whatever this might be, and I'm talking big, broad brush, not, pick up the dining room type of stuff. But if anybody has any thoughts about that, and where should we go in direction on a, say, a policy type thing?
I really feel that we need to continue building awareness on the needs of our community. There was a vaccine rollout that people couldn't get to. They not only could they not get to their appointment, but there was no internet in many of these areas. Seniors don't have, not all of them, a lot of them, a lot more than I care to tell you about, have no internet.
No computer skills.
No computer skill. And when that vaccine first came out, we had that first day 285 calls in one day. It shut down, our phone system crashed. Verizon came down, thank goodness to Paul Maynard. Verizon came and worked on whatever magical thing they did and got it so that we were back online. We were literally, every line was so overwhelmed with phone calls. And those that did have internet
I was just going to say that, yes.
Couldn't get through.
couldn't, not only could you,
Get through.
oh my, could not only, no sense in going and beating up the past.
Right.
And I'm sure that on a higher level, people had a headache too, trying to figure it all out. You'd get kicked out of the site after waiting there and waiting, or you couldn't find anything, or they're sending you to East Obashu. You're going to send a 90-year-old person to East Obashu for a vaccine
And wait in line.
and wait
Line.
in line.
And have to do it twice.
In Arizona.
Right. It was really, really hard. Those, several weeks into that. So we need to work on somehow getting resources to our seniors, or just, well, now we have a good foundation of who doesn't have internet or who doesn't have a computer. So we have a database of that right now. It could probably get bigger as we go along. And we were there for them to sign them up. And they were scared because they didn't think that they were going to be getting a vaccine. So we need to understand the needs of our community, of our older folks in our community. I've probably said it till I'm blue in the face. I've been here for 17 years, and for 17 years, I have never worked as hard as I have this past year. And the things that I have seen with some of our seniors is just, I'd hate to think that were my parents. I'd hate to think that is going to be me. And we need to put things in place for not only you, but for your kids and for your grandkids, because this is just going to always be a problem if we don't start chipping away at it a little bit at a time. So I'm going to say just a lot of awareness, technology. I can't tell you how many times we would go to a house and do video calls with their doctors using our phones, whether it was myself or Tim. We'd go so that they could have a telehealth appointment with their doctor because they didn't have internet, and I couldn't go there with, a laptop or anything because I had no internet to hook up to, but my phone, it worked just fine. And then as we were able to, we allowed them to come into the senior center, and we would put them in the computer room and pull up the information so that they could get on that telehealth appointment with their doctor, so that we could close the door and walk away so they could have that private appointment. I couldn't necessarily do that when I was at their house with my phone. So as we got a little bit smarter about what to do, that's what we ended up doing. Transportation, housing. They want to just stay here in town, and they can't afford to keep their home. If they are affording to keep their home, it's not heated properly, or there's windows that need to be replaced. And some of the folks that we think have a lot of money don't. They've outlived their funds. And the only fund that they have left is selling that house and go where?
Yeah.
And that's
There's not even a place to go.
Yeah,
right.
getting isolated someplace
Yes.
else.
Yeah.
You're already isolated, because I think the number one for me was the isolation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Isolation.
Absolutely.
Terrible.
No social contact.
None.
Telephone.
It doesn't work.
do
No.
the same.
Over the internet doesn't
No.
work.
No, it just doesn't cut it. You really need to talk to
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if there's 50 masks on. You
Right.
need to
Yeah.
talk to
Exactly.
a person.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Michelle, may I ask something? We touched on like the vaccine and
Yeah.
stuff, and I don't expect you to have the right answer or anything, and I believe I might have asked you before. Now that they're talking about the booster,
Yes.
coming up, have you gotten any information on if how you go about that? Will it be a sign up? Maybe a lot of people want to know who might be interested in the booster.
It's, to my understanding at this moment, that you could call your doctor, CVS, Walgreens, and tell them, that you need a booster. They're probably going to ask you what, medical issue that you have, and you have to present the card that you were given to indicate that you either had the 2 shots of Pfizer or the 2 shots of Moderna. And now that's all readily available.
Yes.
One thing that I remember being told after we got the cards is that you should take a photocopy
Yes.
Oh,
and
yes.
put it away.
Yes. Yep.
Or put it on your phone.
Absolutely. If you have a smartphone, take a picture of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
a smartphone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Put it on your phone, because it's there.
Well, it's more so if you lose the card or
Right.
something like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
That's what they're
definitely.
saying.
If you have
Yeah,
no
well,
way to
that's what I
copy
mean.
it,
If you have a
Yeah.
photo
Yeah.
on the phone,
Yeah.
you got it. But the thing of it is, CDC doesn't even know who they think will need the booster shot.
Right.
So there is no answer yet.
there really
No.
isn't.
And I'm sure you'll keep people advised as it comes to you.
Yep,
Yes,
yep. We are getting phone calls just recently of individuals who now really see the need of having the vaccine. So once again, we are making some appointments for folks, even though you can go to your CVS, your Walgreens, your Market 32s and, set up an appointment or talk to them, give them a call first to make sure that, that they have it in and they're not out. It's pretty readily available. But again, we have several seniors or even maybe our late 40s, 50s that call us for some advice because maybe we helped out their parent and they now decided that they need it. So the website is a little bit more more user friendly, but I find just calling the place works best right now to see if you can get in, since it is pretty much a walk-in. So Wally, to answer your question, there are so many things. Selling, I'll hit on it again, selling their house is not an option. There's nowhere to go. There are waiting lists, 30 people deep at nearly every housing authority in the area.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So you're on a waiting list. Where are you going to go? You got to stay in your house.
And it seems like it's all over. It's all the towns, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it's all
Yeah,
the
it's not-
states as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, long wait.
So, whatever faces a senior out there that's an obstacle is probably something we need to be focusing on, because it's gonna hit us or your kids or your grandkids eventually at some point. So housing needs to be addressed on some level, affordable housing. And I'm not talking little condo house. I'm just a nice little, tiny little efficiency apartment,
Right.
like another Orchard Apartments, something along that line. Really needs to be advocated for. I'm always going to say transportation, because it is a tremendous need.
Well, especially in Sutton, because
Oh,
there is no
yeah.
public transportation.
No, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
And so that does create a huge problem.
Yes. Yep. So.
And I know there are people that don't want to get on buses, but at least if you're on a bus route, you have an option.
You do, right, right.
You have
Elder
some
bus,
kind of
Right.
independence.
Elder bus will take you to, they do have shopping trips, so they will take you down to Market 32 or Walmart. They do have weekly trips out to there. But if you're a senior and you're afraid of going into the grocery store, if you call us and give us a list of what you need, and we can we have the availability and the time, we will help you out. Probably go and pick up. I'm assuming how we did it in the past, and they would give us some cash or a credit card, but you got to do what you got to do. But when we took it back to their house, we made copies. Well, we made copies of everything that we got for them, and they got their sales receipt. They signed it, we signed it, and the copies, so that everybody, everything was on the up and up with that. So.
It's not that seniors forget things or anything like that.
Right, right. I just
really
want.
send you to the store?
Yeah, just trying to. It's
Yeah.
difficult to put services in place and try to not live in a litigious society at the same time. So, we'll do it as best as we can with as many eyes focusing on it, so that we have enough paper trail or whatnot to help out. It's that kind of stuff, Wally, that is maddening.
Excuse me, regarding that building that's supposed to be built with the 90 apartments in it, or something.
Well, these are condos.
Oh,
These are
condos.
attached condos. They're not
But are
apartments.
these not just for everybody? Are they for seniors, or it can be anybody? Or do they have a specific amount for seniors that they're going to be doing?
It's primarily geared for seniors, but legally we can't put
I
an
know.
age restriction in there.
No,
So the consensus of the planning board was, well, if you got a number of people that are over 60, you're not going to have that many kids going to school.
right.
Now, there'll be some, I know, but nothing like what you would in a regular
Right.
area. And also, as part of this, I think they start with 88, we're up to 93, but we're getting 13 affordable housing condos
In that.
out of
Right,
that.
that's what I was wondering, affordable housing.
Yes, so there will be 13 of those.
Yeah.
We're at like 1.5% in Sutton. Federal law says you're supposed to be at 10. The federal law was
I
put
know.
in 1967, so this isn't anything they just came up with, you know.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off. You got to show that you're making improvements towards reaching this goal. And if you do not, a developer can come in here, decide to just do whatever they want, and guess what? Local zoning has no say.
I know, I live
Just
near
like-
it.
Have you gone through that?
I live near it, yes.
You know, so we're not sure that would be in the best interest, but we want to also have to put plans in here to reach the goal. And, you know, as Michelle has also pointed out, there are people who have, we'll say, lived longer than whatever they anticipated, and so you got financial issues here. And obviously, not everybody can, sell their house and move into the villas at $700K a pop, plus X hundreds of dollars a month in fees, which
Right.
just comes with any condo community. So, we're just very aware of that. And we did increase, we probably will not improve a project with just 10% because we're not affordable. So if you're going to have 10 units, you can't just have one because we're not making any progress towards the goal of increasing this overall number. That's why we added, they went along with it. Also, these are conditions of approval. This is not,
Right.
state
Final
that.
stage.
Yeah, well, this is a contract. I mean, he can't all of a sudden get down the road and say no, okay, because then he won't get any COs, which, this is a legal contract. You've got to do this. And so we're quite aware of the ramifications.
right.
Or certainly I am, being one of the seniors, I guess.
It's not just for seniors either. I know, like, in regular houses, they still have the 10% policy in town
Yeah.
towards that when there's large development.
Well, there's a project off of Leland Hill Road.
Right, I know.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And you drive up there and you know, a lot of kids and this and that. And people can't flip these, what I call flip them. When you go to sell them, you're selling it whatever the affordable rate is
Right.
at that point in time.
Right.
So you can't buy something for 200 and sell it for 300. Would say that's general
Whatever the
market.
affordable is at the market, yeah.
Correct. So it's not there are a lot of regulations and rules here.
I have a question. Now, all right, these condos you're talking about, those are to be purchased, right? So does the town of Sutton have anything in the future for like that subsidized housing, like the Orchard Apartments, where people would just rent it?
As far as
To
my
me,
knowledge,
I feel that's something really, really
that's what
needed
we
in
need.
town.
Income-based housing.
I know, like Millbury, and not to always bring up another town, but I think they have like 3 or 4
Yeah.
different places, and Sutton has just one.
well, put it in another.
And it's old.
Absolutely.
I do have a comment on this. One, we have 30 units at Orchard.
Yeah.
Okay, and those of us that go there say there's probably could be room for improvement, and that's 50 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, Pat and I visit a woman over in one of the Grafton areas, all right? It's like night and day, Grafton to, we're night, their day. And, okay, so we've got 9,000 people in 30 units. They've got like 13,128. And then they have one in South Grafton, which is run by the government. The one we go to is behind the Duncans, and that's a town, they've got all these different places. But they're, I don't know, they're larger, obviously they're a lot newer than the, 50 years. I don't know how new they really are, but
Indoor laundry.
Yeah, and that, well,
Yes.
it's just a whole
Right, it's a whole different thing.
different ambiance to the places. I mean, you could get around easily with a wheelchair. Well, probably you could in our place too, but you got stairs. It's something else, and they got stairs in some of theirs. But I mean, we're way underserved, in my estimation. For we need literally that type of housing. We don't need these. You know, not everybody's upscale. I think.
Right.
The other thing too is when somebody in a financial bind has to sell the house. If they go to rent a condo, they can't afford the condo.
Right.
Because the condos are more than their house. Plus the services, the extended.
Maintenance.
Yeah,
You know,
all the other things that go with it.
And I don't know, you have all this, and you got people who've lived here for 30, 40, 50 odd years, their whole life is here, and then, so now they should, at age whatever, go start somewhere else.
And by somewhere, I mean probably
Miles.
out west.
Yeah.
Because
Right,
right.
there's nothing within,
This is not like the old days when grandma was next door or on the second level or someplace, right? And you had extended family.
yeah.
you could check on her.
Yeah.
I did a little research in some of the people in their 20s, asking people, with kids in that range, where are your kids? Seattle, San Francisco,
Yeah.
Boston, New York, Washington. They're not, unless you get a job in the medical business around here, you're not here.
No.
If you've been educated and move on, unless you do, call support services, the plumber, that type of stuff. You're not going to be here. You're going to go to the big cities, and this is the same. The last census just showed that all the rural communities and counties are losing population hand over fist
Yeah.
because there's nothing there for them to do.
And those kids that are living far away are reaching out to us
Yeah.
to
Yes,
fill the needs of their parent
right.
or their grandparent, which is perfectly all right, which is fine, because that's what we're here for. But you're absolutely right. They're far away, and
The other question that
away.
will come to my mind: do we have the resources to deal with this? And it also needs to be educational, because
Yes.
we've gone through an experience. Pat's mother out on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many things. The person moves. I mean, I'm sure probably all of you have experienced this. And now you got this distance thing. So you just drive to wherever, even
Yeah.
Boston, let alone Worcester. You got to get on a plane. You got to do things. You got to figure out the law, what services are available. I mean,
And how do you check on them?
yeah, that guy. Yeah,
on the
and
services.
who do you believe?
Yeah, the services, because it's hard.
It's a sad, scary, to be in that, whether it's for the children, for their parents, or the parents being in that themselves so far away
Yeah.
from their children. That's sad and scary at an elderly age. I mean, it really is, so,
we
And thank you.
we do
Yeah,
our best to
You do.
vet, Corey check, or link a senior to a service
Right.
or to somebody who's going to help them. We know them personally, professionally, and they've been Corey checked to the best that we can do to make sure that if they're going into your house or they're helping you legally or shine or whatever, that they will do what's right by you. So, which you don't often know when you live far away and you got to get.
And thank
Some
goodness
support.
that this sad, scary state to be in for the child and the parents, that there are places like senior centers, or think that there are people out there that they can turn to.
Yeah.
So it's a comfort,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And Wally, thank you for always updating us on what's being done.
Thanks,
for
Wally.
Over 60.
I think one of the key elements is what was mentioned before, is the socialization.
Yeah.
And
I'm grateful to have some of our programs back, which,
Oh,
we can talk about
absolutely.
after,
Yes,
under whatever's coming up.
Mask is-
okay. Do you want to proceed to what's
Sure.
in place?
I don't think you want to do that.
So, we have welcomed back several of our exercise programs. It's good to have Gloria Beaupre back as our teacher for chair yoga and for muscular strength. Yes, she was in the past teaching every day, but she has other commitments at this time. So she's teaching twice a week for us, and then once, hopefully everything kind of simmers down, both at our center and for herself, we'll just stick with the 2 classes and then move on from there. Gary LaChapelle is back with Tai Chi. He's only doing that 1 day a week right now, which may roll back into 2 days. He's got some projects going himself that he's only there once a week, and I appreciate him being, honest about that he's got, other things going on, so, he doesn't end up canceling classes. Starting on Tuesdays in September, beginning September 7th, I have hired a girl through the grant. Her name is Crystal, and she is certified in just about any aspect of yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, anything like that. She's got just a ton of certificates and education on all of this stuff. She's going to be teaching they call it senior or gentle cardio bar. So it's kind of like dancing. So you're doing like plies and all that type of dancing. I suggest you look it up if you can get it on the internet. I will put some more information out there about it, but it's a little bit more rigorous than probably what people have been used to. So I'm going to suggest that you.
It can't be as rigorous as Zumba.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. Zumba. Right. So,
Oh, but it's more vigorous, a little bit more vigorous than chair yoga.
Yes.
What I'm
And
saying,
muscular strength.
because a lot
Yes,
of us
yeah.
did.
yes.
Whatever I
And
just
do the
said.
Zumba. Yes.
Because the isolation
Yeah.
is just
Yeah.
taking
Either right. You-
mine away.
So, if you're feeling good and you want to come and give it a try, she's doing this gentle cardio bar, which is, what type of dancing am I thinking about? Ballet dancing.
Ballet.
It's like ballet moves.
Yes. Okay.
Using your chair, behind the chair. She has said to me on a couple of occasions that if people aren't able to, she can modify it towards somebody to be in the chair. So I have to see, this is kind of sight unseen. Corey Check passed beautifully. She's doing it in other towns that can't say enough about her. They love it. So we're gonna give it a try. That's on Tuesdays at 1:30.
How long would the class be?
It's going to be about 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, with our classes, you have to wear your mask, but we are keeping you distant. It's first come, first serve. I haven't had to turn anyone away because everything has to happen in the dining room now because of air circulation and
The other room's too small.
and the other room is way too small. And, for safety purposes, other than COVID, we really can't stuff people in that room like sardines. So it's in the dining room. Yes, you have to wear your mask. We are keeping you apart. However, I have said that you can pull that down underneath your nose while you're doing your exercise because you might need a little air, a little bit more oxygen. If you're keeping it on over your mouth, I don't know how safe that is, but I'm trying to keep you healthy, and exercise and socialize all at the same time is a very slippery slope. It's a very hard wire to walk. But I feel maybe if you had that down and at least your mouth was closed, no spit and stuff is entering the air, I hope. So,
Well, if you go to the hospital and you do cardiac rehab, which I did, they don't allow you to take down the mask.
do they?
And you're there an hour and a half.
Right.
and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
And we have trouble with our hearts, so.
Right. Oh, well.
Proof
It's
that it
all a
works, so-
state of
Right,
mind.
could,
Oh, my.
could be, could, yeah, probably. Well, hookers are back in action, however, they really haven't been back. They come in spurts, and then they realize that not all their buddies are there, so then they go. So I want to let you know that knitting and crocheting is back on, and that's on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Again, if these times don't work out for these folks, I encourage them to talk to me. If they come up with something as a group, some different options, and I can make it work somehow, I'm more than happy to make that work, to do what I can for that. So we have blood pressure clinics now on Monday. Because I'm trying to I gotta try and space things out. It's not because I'm trying to, change the earth or anything. I just need to figure out a way where I can have times where it's a little bit more safe. This is what I've been asked to do, and this is what I need to do. We have welcomed back pitch. That's going over well. That's good to see them all back. The I'm Sorry group is a card group. That meets on Fridays at 9:30. Anyone is welcomed. It's just a fun time. I don't know what happens in that room, but it is loud, Barbara Bissett. I won't name names. They have a lot of fun in there. You just the laughter and the fellowship is good to hear. It's just very welcome. So anybody's welcome to come and play it. It's just a fun little card game. It's fairly easy to learn, so anyone is welcome to it. We have darts back on. I call it's on here, I believe, as noon darts. I'm calling it noon darts because I think people didn't realize that it was their noon dart club. So long story short, they asked me to keep it written noon darts. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Don't add. I just do what I'm told. So
Is that an
10
hour?
a.m. It's they can go as long as they want. Typically, they've done a couple of hours. They would go from noon until about 3 or whenever 2:30. But now they're 10 a.m. because it's really the only time that I can accommodate that. So come on down, grab some friends, come on down, play darts if you'd like, and that's at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. Again, we are offering lunch on Wednesdays and Fridays at 11:45. And if you give us a call, a couple days' notice, 48 hours in advance, Michelle is more than happy to sign you up and have you come and join us for lunch. At the tables, it's kind of limited amount of people at the tables, again, because we're taking down our masks and we don't have these partitions, and we're eating, and when you eat, you tend to talk and blah, blah, blah. So there's just maybe 2-4 people at a table, so we're trying to do our best to accommodate that and space it out, and again, keep it safe. So as hopefully maybe things get better, which looking at the numbers every day, I'm not entirely certain about that. And it's not even cold and flu season yet. So we will continue to add programs in there. If you think of a program that you might enjoy, we could try and advocate for it, see if we can gather some support and put it in there. The one thing I have learned that if you do suggest something like that, an activity like that, I might hold you accountable to looking into that and maybe taking that ball on yourself a little bit, because I have realized that this senior center is way more than just activities, which is fantastic. Activities are so important for socialization, fellowship, and overall health. But we're also more so about meeting the needs of our seniors who need to be linked to services, who need notaries, who need wills, you name it, it's there. So you know, you might, if you come up with an idea, be ready for me to say, how about you help me out with that? So,
May I add something?
sure.
About bingo?
Oh, yes.
That's very, very popular. I'm not a bingo player myself, but they like it, and it was so heartwarming
Oh,
to
it's
see
so
so
nice.
many come back on Friday. But I just wanted people to know that it's our new bingo. We use paper cards, bingo cards, all disposable. You do have to wear your mask and leave them on so that there could be like 4 or 5 at a table. And the paper, it's used with daubers. We have everything there as well as daubers that we sell for $1 each, like that's the going rate anyway. And we have multiple of them, and the people are accepting that. So everything gets thrown away, even where you put your money in, it's just a little styrofoam dish, all of that gets thrown away. The bingo wheel and the board you put it on, that's all left out at the end of bingo, and it gets all sanitized with the that nice sanitizer
a nice
they have.
sanitizing
So
machine.
everything, it's as safe as it can be under the circumstances. So if you're interested, come to the bingo.
That's on the Friday bingo. The Friends bingo is just amazing. And
It's the
so much
friendly
fun.
bingo.
It is the friendly
It's
bingo.
friendly.
It is
It
so
is.
It really is. It really has taken on a whole other life that it didn't have before.
And they so enjoy it, and
Yeah.
they were so thrilled to see each other, many of them who you see all the time. It was nice, for Gail and I as well, I might say.
It's
It was
also,
good.
they're not just Sutton people there.
No, it's
no.
everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone.
That's
Yeah.
true about the
Everyone's-
senior center.
Everyone's welcome to
I
any
mean,
center.
Like they can tell you where
Most
it
of
was
it
at their
is not
center.
Sutton people.
Yeah,
And
it's welcome to everyone.
And since we're talking a little bit about the Friends, just so you know, with more people coming into the center a little bit more, our little Sutton Center, Senior Center store is open, as well as our jewelry cart, and people are starting to buy again. But just another word, as trying to be as safe as possible. Everything that's sold in the little store or on the jewelry cart, it's all wrapped. It's all wrapped in clear plastic bags or whatever, so that nobody gets to touch anything. So anybody interested in buying something, it's relatively safe, because it's not like a piece of jewelry or an article that you're going to put on your body. It's already been wrapped. And one last thing, for those, not everybody is quite aware, most people know by now, everything that is sold in the store and on the jewelry cart, it's all donated. Nobody gets paid for anything, whether they knit something or make something. So it's all 100% profit to the senior center for programs and activities that we can provide. And thank you for your time. And thank you for coming back to bingo.
Right.
And the center.
On that note, bingo on Wednesdays has been very slow for right now. They have decided that they're not going to hold bingo on Wednesdays. They'd rather go to Friendly Friends bingo.
Yeah.
Big money. So anyhow,
Few
the
issues on
Wednesday,
that.
yeah, there's the Wednesday bingo has decided to take a little break for
It
now.
might come back.
It might.
It's
Absolutely.
a
And
different
I'll,
group who
you know,
runs
I'll
it,
leave
so,
that
yes.
leave that up to them as to whether they want to do it.
Right.
I will tell you about the paper use of the paper bingo cards has actually gone over very well with some of our folks who have macular degeneration and vision problems. They can see it better than they can those little things with the
Yes,
where you have
yes.
to, you know, slide. So it's
Good.
worked out.
So it solved a problem.
It really did.
really does.
It really,
It does,
it really did. And like Rosemarie said, Paul Maynard was instrumental, really, in getting us a sanitizing machine through Clorox. And when anything is used at the end of the day, Tim usually goes through and sanitizes everything down. Not that it's not to a soaking wet; it's more like a steam type thing. And so chairs that are left out after exercise are sprayed down. Tables, bingo stuff, handles, anything like that. Bathroom gets gets that wand of sanitation through it. In the mornings, they're cleaned, but then he comes through afterwards and and wipes things down. As we have a big group leave, either myself or Diane will take wipes and wipe down doorknobs and the handles as you open and close the doors. And it's another reason that we had to get rid of the boards, the clipboards. Listen, I'm going to toot our horn. It probably sounds all extreme, and maybe it is, but everybody there is as safe as possible.
Right.
And I can't thank them enough for doing all that. So.
You're going to have to excuse me. I have an appointment. All right. Thank you all. Nice seeing you.
Good to see you.
Seeing you.
Is there anything else anybody wants to share or question or discuss? No?
I have one thing.
Okay.
I was just going to ask Michelle about her wish for a pavilion.
I'm
Now
glad
that
you brought
things-
that up. Well, my wish, and I've been working on it for a while. I was hesitant in bringing it up. The side property by the dumpster, that big square, I would like to have a pavilion put in. So that whole thing and I've talked it over with Jim Smith, I've talked it over with building department and everybody and anybody. Seemingly a really good idea. People are very supportive. It's going to come down to funds. And I'm trying to get some of our local businesses. I don't want to do fundraising at $1,000 at a time. I want to find somebody who's going to take the ball, just take it and roll with it. This would provide our seniors the opportunity to be outside and enjoying, excuse me one second, and enjoying the fresh air. We could do activities out there and not have to worry about being confined into small areas. They love to sit outside and chat. And a lot of my folks are missing that because I can't have them underneath that little carport anymore. Not my decision, truthfully. It comes down to so many people that find it unsafe. Everybody congregating by the door. People can't get in and out. It's just a whole thingamabobber. So I was going to purchase a canopy, one of those large canopies that you get. That didn't really sound like a wise decision, blowing away, and I don't want to get into all that. It would provide an opportunity for us to have outdoor activities for seniors. Meal program,
Exercise.
exercise.
Could have exercised a lot sooner if
You
we
could have
had
been
that.
out there the entire summer.
Well, even a lot of the spring and everything.
Yeah.
Like the white picket fence in Douglas put up, it's a tent, okay? But, I mean, it cost them a lot of money because they went through the town and they put the cement and everything. And it's huge, but they were eating out there because they have the heaters in
Yes.
it and everything.
Yep.
So something like that, I think we need.
We need it. We need it. We need it. And
'Cause,
I have
the senior center does not have enough room, and we're not going to build onto it.
No, there's no place to
There's
go.
no way.
There's
we're
no
gonna
place to
build
go.
onto it.
There's
I
no
don't
way.
care
There's not enough property.
How many people say we need a
yeah.
yoga room?
I know, I
How?
know.
You can't.
They
There's no
just
place
think
to
it's-
go.
Yeah, your wish
You
didn't
thought maybe
get
we
done.
could, at one point I
You
thought, well, you
can't.
can knock out a wall and go,
Yeah.
but you
No,
can't because there's
you can't.
stuff back there. There's
Yeah.
there's all, you
Well, there's
can't.
not a lot of land
There's nothing.
back there
Right, there's no-
anyways.
there's no
I mean,
land
it may
anywhere.
look like there's a lot, but there really
There's
isn't.
not. Half of it's wet, got a creek running through it
So
and
the
all that stuff.
pavilion or the tent, like they have, is a really great idea, because if this ever came down again, you could basically keep open to an extent.
Absolutely. We could have had
Because
meals all along.
that's what they did to keep themselves in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It cost them a lot of money. Don't get, everything costs money. But,
Now, I'm sure you've all walked at, well, most of you probably have walked at Broad Meadow Brook, the Audubon trails in Worcester.
yeah.
They have a beautiful pavilion there that was put in by, it's not Norton Company, Wyman Gordon? What is it now? They,
Oh.
Wyman Gordon.
yeah, and they provided that entire pavilion, and it's solar. So anything that, all the
it's
everything
solar
that
too?
it's all solar, and it's beautiful. It's simple,
Well, that's
nice
all you need
concrete
is something
base.
simple.
Solar.
Simple to keep it
Nice.
clean and
Yep.
everything.
Yep. I don't want
It's not a
benches
clot to
built
clean
in.
up.
I don't want anything in there. I just want a slab and a roof.
Yeah.
So that
That's all you need.
That's all I need. That's all I need. As far as chairs and picnic tables and all that, I don't need that because I have tables that are on wheels that are
Yeah.
more than good.
Yeah.
And I have nice new light chairs now that I don't have any problem lugging around. So yeah, a pavilion. I'm trying to find some people with some deep pocket, really deep pocket. You're looking at about a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit.
You'll have to go on.
Yes, I got it, right, I gotta go, that's right, I gotta go check it
I think maybe you need to go to Kraft.
Right? Oh,
He seems to be doing all
He's doing a lot, I mean, he's buying a lot in the town, but he's also doing a lot for the town. It would be worth it.
it is, it's worth, because you're
For a
gonna,
tr- you know, I mean, he
it's
might
not a
come
just,
through.
it's not just a wish list, just a like, oh, I need this, I just need this for whatever.
it is a
There's actually, it's a
necessity.
necessity.
Because isolation of seniors is just like isolation of the children. The children have been set back really bad, and so have the elderly.
Yeah.
I believe, right from the beginning, I said it, every age group has suffered in one way or another. Every age group, from children in school to seniors and to people losing members of their
Oh, yeah.
families who've
Yeah.
passed away or are in a nursing home. So to me, it seems like there was so much bad, and certainly still is, with this whole virus thing. But I think we've all learned a number of lessons, valuable lessons, whether it's top echelon, the government, right down to us average citizens. We've all learned things.
It's made a lot of
Yes,
folks
and
a lot more
changes that
kinder.
can be
A little
done.
bit more kind.
A lot of good could come out of it.
Yes, a
Absolutely.
lot of
Really
good.
learn
Lot of
and
good.
practice the lessons.
I think so.
3 years ago, I went to a wedding in Minnesota, which was held in what they call a community center. Now, what is a community center? In New England, we keep thinking of everything's a little independent fiefdom. We've got a fire department, right? We have a police department. We don't have public safety. In a lot of periods of the country, they have public safety, which takes care of those types of things. Okay, the community center, what did they have? They had a senior center. They had a daycare for kids. They had the library. They had all kinds of recreational activities for a wide variety of ages. They even had a swimming pool, just to, which might be a little bit much. But they had things from
For the community.
the whole community. Now, here, what do we think about? The seniors. Okay, we're down in South Sutton. What interaction do we have, or does the rest of the community have with us? They don't.
We have interaction
Oh, we
with
have-
the cemetery.
Right up the street, good thing's close by. And you
Well,
can-
it is true.
They still have openings, as last I knew.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's all these little, there's no interaction,
Sewerage.
generational interaction. I'm just throwing this out, I don't have any, but I've thought about I was just taken back because there were just so many things going on in this facility. And there were interactions between the seniors and the preschoolers. There were things going back and forth, and it was just it was an eye opener. And then you had rooms you could rent. Well, that's why the wedding was there, because you could be, they had the facility. They had catering facilities, for
Yeah.
It to me made a lot of sense because you get one facility, serving a wide variety of uses. You don't have a building here that you gotta maintain, and another thing over here, and, I don't know.
And
I'm
it's
just
good for
throwing
every,
this
it's
out.
good for every age group. It is
Well,
good.
yeah, you're not
It is.
segregating everybody
Right.
by age.
This has been a very enlightening meeting. It has, and might I say, it's nice to be back with our board members and meeting. Is there anything else, anybody else has anything to say, want to add or question? We'll adjourn the meeting, and it is, what is the time?
10:25.
I can't see it from
Like
the side.
10:25.
10:25.